Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. I don't know where you are watching us from, but I want to welcome all of you. And as as we said last week, today we're gonna talk about emotional exhaustion, spiritual burnout. So we will try to go through this topic today a little bit deeper and with the help of Rodrigo, Elsa, and Charles, we will try to answer some questions or clear up some doubts. If you have any questions, please use the comment box, write your question there, and let us know if you are experiencing any doubts or under further explanation. Okay, so let's start the introductions here. Let's start with ladies first. Elsa, my dear, good evening.
Good evening, Stevan, Rodrigo, Charles, and our dear people from internet. It is really good to be happy to be here again, and with this happiness that invades us. I'm so immersed in happiness in order to be with you in this wonderful room. So I hope everyone feels the same, because it is nice to reflect, to overcome our difficulties, and to understand why we have this important topic today. Né? É isso daí.
Ok, good. Olá, Rodrigo, ¿cómo estás?
Pues muy bien, muy alegre de estar y contento de estar aquí de nuevo con vosotros. Es una reunión de amigos, de familia espiritual, eh, y el tópico de hoy es un tópico muy actual, un tópico que merece una reflexión y creo que podremos juntos traer cosas, buenas reflexiones para todos a la luz del espiritismo. Y bienvenidos a todos que nos están asistiendo también, viéndonos por las redes sociales, por YouTube y por otras, por donde se produzca ese streaming. Hi, everyone. It's a great joy, a great pleasure to be here again with friends, our spiritual family. So it's always a pleasure and an honor and also an opportunity to learn. And the topic today is very actual, is a very important topic. So, and hopefully we can cover that with with the right approach. And as Stevan said, clearing up some doubts that we might have as well. So we are here to discuss together. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Indeed, very happy to be here together with you all, Elsa, Rodrigo, you, Steven, and all the people who joined us in order to try to clarify a little bit what is not in these questions about this spiritual exhaustion or burnout or things like that.
Perfect. Thank you, Charles. Okay, as I said at the beginning, uh, today many of us feel tired, uh, but not only physically tired, we are sometimes emotionally and spiritually tired. The world moves quickly, crises repeat, expectations increase, uh, and even though those who are connected with the spiritual friends doing their spiritual services, sometimes they feel drained. And Spiritism teaches us that we are composed of body, perispirit, and spirit. When one dimension it is imbalanced, the others suffer as well. So tonight we will reflect on the spiritual exhaustion, its cause, its lessons, and how to restore inner balance through modal alignment and divine connection. So, first things first, let me go first with Rodrigo. My friend, can spiritual workers experience burnout?
Well, I think yes. As you said, so we are composed of body, pure spirit, and spirit. So we live, we as spiritual spiritist workers, we live in a material world, of course, with all these three components, and we are trying to balance it out. So the experience in the matter provides us several experiences which helps us to evolve, um, dealing with the forces of the matter provides us experiences which we cannot have in the spiritual world, and that's why we are here to learn through this experience. But we should never forget that we have a body, a material body. We need to feed it. We need to care for it. We need to care for this body, because this is our instrument, and this instrument has limited energy. I mean, so of course we when we have a balance between spirits, perispirit, and the physical body, um, we can create a balance. And sometimes one is more, how can I say, imbalanced than other, and we can create some compensation. But as a matter of fact, so the balance of everything, of this composition, is what creates harmony for us. And if we, how can I say, abuse of our capacity or material capacity to develop what we need to do, to work and to act, of course, our body will suffer from that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can be in total balance, spiritually speaking, but the body has a limit. The physical body has a limit. Of course, we need to care for it. We need to eat well, healthy. We need to exercise. We need to care for this instrument which God gave us in order to exercise this incarnation experience. Um, and in every aspect of our material life, if we abuse of it, using it more than what we need, than what we can support, we can create this imbalance. For instance, we were discussing this week. I was discussing with Guilherme, with Elsa, about the limits of manifestation of mediums in the mediumship meetings. So that of course we know that the mediumship, it creates some exhaustion because it consumes energy, and sometimes we need to limit it in order for the medium not to suffer more than what the medium needs, physically speaking, but also spiritually speaking. So we need to pay attention to that balance. In spiritually speaking, of course, we need to care for our balance. We need to refuel our spiritual energy with prayer, with good thoughts, with exercising good feelings, not judging others. I mean, so in the body we have the exhaustion caused by the material use of our body. But spiritually speaking, our mental health, our emotional health, helps us to balance out the energy or the fluids that we have, in order to keep this balance and have a healthy life in all the aspects. Um, in today's world, so we were discussing at the beginning. So Elsa did a comment with very well pointed out. So Stevan, you coordinate this life, no, you coordinate this work. You have your spiritist work. You have your family to care for you, and the job. So everybody here is doing several things at the same time. And as Buddha said, so in the middle is where we find the answer, where we find the balance for
Mhm.
everything. If we abuse in any aspect of that, so if I just care for my spiritual side of and I disregard the material side of my being, let's say, this will create imbalance. So we need to put everything in balance, to dedicate time for each one of them, and to balance out as well all the experiences we need to face in the physical in the matter, as because spiritism is a body of knowledge, about a doctrine which helps us to face all of this. We need to work, of course. Our work in the spiritist side is very important. It is a kind of charity that we provide without what we learn, what we study, to help others to understand spiritism as well. Uh, However, spiritism is something which helps us to live the life we need, to have the experience we need to face in order to progress. So our family is how can I say, a source of experiences which we need to progress in our work, and we need to be spiritists um, in all the aspects of the life, and we need to apply the spiritist body of knowledge to be good people in all aspects of life. So I think the balance of everything is what creates the healthy way to pass through this life and to reach, let's say, the end, because this life has an end. I mean, the material life has an end. The body has. We'll finish sometime, and we'll continue. So it's a limited lifetime. So we need to do and take advantage of this the maximum we can. And the way we do that is creating a balance of everything: a spiritual life, and the material life. So this is the balance we need to create. And if we abuse, even as spiritist workers, in the leadership meetings, in the way we use to spread this, of course, exhaustion will happen. And then this will be preventing us from doing more than what we can. I think respecting the limits we have as human beings is very important for us to be successful as spiritist workers as well. I think that's what I would like to comment in this regard.
Great, Rodrigo. This is good kickoff for our discussion here. And I would say, and I'd like to to ask Charlie's opinion, because sometimes everything's happened to us, Charlie, that we don't know if we are having a depression itself, or we are having a spiritual imbalance and spiritual exhaustion. So those things are mixed, and we're treating one thing, but we are having another thing. So there is a way we can identify. There is a way we can say, stop everything, like stop the bus. I wanna get off the bus.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we had these uh, conferences given by the Spiritist Medical Association. We asked them a lot of times how to make the difference between these, how to say, bodily aspects and the spiritual aspects, or depression and spiritual imbalance, or between schizophrenia and spiritual perturbation. And it's they all answer. It's not black and white. There is always somehow a mixture of both combined. So this is why spiritist movements, all the spiritists, always encourage to check both aspects. If you want to maximize the chances to solve the problems, whether it is depression or spiritual imbalance, the best way is to take care of both possible aspects of it. The first one being the body. So this is we need to go to the doctor. They make analysis, assessment. They check several things, and when they find already an imbalance in the body itself, between hormones or other things, there are good treatments in order to restore a little bit, restore better this imbalance. And when it is coming from a spiritual side, again, the fact to treat also in parallel the spiritual aspect is then, of course, maximizing the chances, because sometimes the cause is spiritual, but there is already a harm and an effect on the physical body. So when there is a harm on the physical body, you need to treat both. That's clear. And on the spiritist body of knowledge, of course, Rodrigo said it already. Everything is a question of balance. Just to summarize, maybe what Rodrigo said, I always say the human being is like a table with 3 feet. What happens with a table which has 3 feet? If you remove 1 feet, the table collapses, isn't it? So the 3 feet are the ideal or the hobby, in the case spiritist body of knowledge, or being spiritist or things like that. Second one is the family. It's also need to care about the family, the children, and whatsoever, because it's our mission. And the third is the work, the professional work. And if you find the equilibrium between the three, you will be stable. If you exaggerate on one, for instance, workaholic, exaggerate on the work and neglect the family and the ideal, of course, you will enter in such type of problems, because the exhaustion comes, and it's now very observed, the burnout, for when we really don't exaggerate on one side and don't take care about the balance between all these aspects. And the spiritist body of knowledge is also helping us in this way. Why? Because through the spiritualist paradigm, meaning we have a soul, and this soul is surviving after the death and has a journey in this incarnation to progress, and then we'll go back to the spiritual world and maybe later come back again. So this gives a long-term view, a long-term vision, and it's not just a theory. It's there are so many evidences about that this enables to take a little bit distance from the daily things, and from time to time to make this balance. Okay, where am I? Where do I want to go? What is good? What is not good? What is really harming me? What is not? And this reasoning also brings back some serenity, brings back balance, and we know also some tools for this, spiritual tools. For instance, we have all a spiritual mentor or a guardian angel, if you prefer, and it's a spirit which is always here to help us. And generally, when we get depression or spiritual imbalance, it's because we cut a little bit this link, or we are too distant from it. So this is something also that we have to take care through prayer, through good readings, and through calling him when we need it, because he's here for this to answer. He may not answer directly or unless you are medium or whatsoever, but there will always be this voice of the conscience remembering you. Hey, look at this, look at that. Here, maybe you are too much. And if we manage to make this connection with our spiritual angel, then our spiritual mentor, sorry, we then of course it helps a lot to bring the equilibrium and the balance back, and also to fight against depression, because most of the time depression is also happening when we have big trials, big difficulties, materially speaking, or health problems, or even mental problems, uh, and these trials, of course, again, we have to seek for help from incarnated people, from friends, or in a spiritist group, or also calling our spiritual mentor, and knowing that we are never alone, and knowing also that we will never face any challenge which is above our capability. We will always have challenges that we are able to face and to fix. And knowing this, of course, it helps a lot also in the prevention of both depression and also spiritual imbalance.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for this. Yes, indeed. The Medical Spirit Association always give us good insights. And then at the same time, it's very, very tough for them because, like, in 1 month, they cover 4, 5, 6 countries in a row without rest or proper rest, let's say. My dear Elsa, you have met a lot of those friends from Medical Spirit Association. Our dear friend Marlene Nobre is one of these example. So, what's your takeaways from what Charlie said? So, what do you have anything to add?
About exhaustion,
Yes.
of course. I did some literature today, and I brought something that really struck my attention. And always Marlene Nobre was teaching us to be in good condition to be a good worker, especially be very careful, be vigilant with our actions, and always pray. Pray is our defense in order really to be healthy in spiritual side and of course in physical side. And about the obsession contributing to exhaustion, according to the Spiritist view, or the body of knowledge, as Charles always said, as codified by Allan Kardec and deepened by the psychological studies of Joana de Angelis, obsession can indeed be a significant cause of physical, emotional, and spiritual exhaustion. Obsession, in the Spiritist sense, refers to the persistent influence of one spirit over another. So we know that, but a lot of people don't know that yet. This influence does not occur in isolation, but through a process of affinity when our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors resonate within certain patterns. We become more susceptible to maintaining unhealthy spiritual connections. That is, be vigilant. From a psychological perspective, when De Angelis explained that many obsessive processes are intertwined with inner conflicts, unresolved emotions, guilt, fear, or repetitive negative thinking. This state creates a continual disgust, draining the individual's vitality and generating a sense of fatigue that often cannot be explained solely by physical causes. Spiritually, this interaction may intensify the condition. The constant exchange of dense or disharmonious energies can lead to a feeling of being overwhelmed, discouraged, or even disconnected from one's inner strengths. It is as if the individual carries an invisible weight, affecting both mind and body. In daily life, in our daily life, you, mine, yours, this may manifest as chronic tiredness, lack of motivation, irritability, difficulty concentrating, or emotional instability. Many times, the person seeks only physical explanations without realizing that the roots may also be emotional and spiritual. However, the Spiritist teachings also offer a path of liberation and renewal, free of charge, through prayer, self knowledge, ethical reform, and the cultivation of elevated thoughts. The individual gradually changes their inner frequency. These transformations wakens unhealthy influences and resonates, weakens unhealthy influences and restores balance, vitality, and peace. Thus, obsession can contribute to exhaustion, but it also invites us to a deeper journey of inner healing, responsibility, and spiritual awakening. That is very important for us to know yourselves, to know ourselves. That is important. So, oh, this is not mine. These thoughts are not mine. Oh, why am I so tired today? Why this and that? We can really reconnect a little bit about our inner us and see what's going on. And also, it's very important. Always pray. Pray in order to cleanse. As you have a shower, you are really tired, you come home, so I need a shower, I need a shower. Go for a shower of prayer, or go for a shower physically and pray in the shower. Pray for our inverted commas enemy. Sometimes we don't know where we are working spiritual side, and sometimes carry things with us that we don't need it. So we have to be vigilant. Dr. Marlene always said, be vigilant first and pray in order to have your defense, né? Spiritual defense. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Rodrigo, save me here. Uh, do you have anything to add? Do you experience anything? Have you seen some cases like this?
Hmm. We see that like in the Spiritist Center or even friends. So we develop in this work we do in this the Spiritist work we do of spreading the Spiritist body of knowledge. So we see a lot of things which we perceive. We note that what's happening with the person is not physical. So what's happening with the person has a strong spiritual element. But as Elsa said, so and Kardec teaches us that, and the spirits teaches us that the obsession or the influence. Let's not call obsession because the influence we suffer from the spirits depend on who we are. We know that our perispirit is composed by fluids, by spiritual fluids, and these spiritual fluids are everywhere. So we are, and with the perispirit, it consumes or it's composed by fluids of the world of the globe where the spirit is. But of course, we know that in the world, the earth is a trial and an expiation or in probation word, the spiritual environment and the fluids we have here are not pure. So, but if in the spirit, the perispirit is assimilates the fluids, no, according to who we are, what we think, what we feel. So if we are in balance, if we are in a mental health, spiritual health, if we have a good balance in our life, in the mentally and emotionally, we can uh, absorb better fluids than what when we are in disharmony, when we are unbalanced, when we are with concerns, with other types of depression or thoughts that are not healthy for us. So we see it a lot. And this also can influence our body, our physical body. So that's why we say in the Spiritist Center that when they come to the Spiritist Center and we do spiritual healing passes, we are not curing. We are not doing anything which is persistent, because this is a kind of just temporary help for the person to create consciousness and try to change what is causing the spiritual, mental, and emotional exhaustion. So, but if the person doesn't change, that healing or that the passy, I don't know how to say passy in English, but the healing. So this will just have a temporary solution. So the real solution for our exhaustion, spiritual, emotional, whichever, is depending on who we are, what we look for. I was reading today in the Spirit's book about passion. Passion, as the Spirit said, so is a combination of excess with will. So, and this could be what we do and what we don't do. So what we see a lot of exhaustion, spiritual, emotional exhaustion, not by doing many things or working a lot or doing or abusing of our capacity to do things, but the people who are not doing anything. So because this creates emptiness, lack of purpose. So people who are just sitting and waiting and just seeing life passing by, not doing anything for others, practicing charity. So to be honest with you, I have not seen, I cannot imagine Chico Xavier, for instance, being or depressed or exhausted, because when we do charity, we are giving something, but we are filled with what we receive from others. So it's an exchange of good energy, of good fluids. So charity is the response for everything. Charity, what I mean, so doing something for others with the good heart. I mean, genuine good heart. I mean, I want to see people happy, helped, or in good balance. So every time we dedicate ourselves to do something good to others, we are creating this spiritual environment which is exchanging love. And what I said once is that love is the treasure you accumulate giving. So it's the only treasure which you accumulate if you donate. And this treasure fills our heart of purpose, of joy. So we gather friends. We live a life with purpose, and this is also helping us to create a mental health, a mental balance, an emotional balance, and helps us to balance things out and to have good energy. So charity is the response for everything, to be honest with you, as we have learned with Spiritism.
Yeah, you mentioned something very good, because when I asked the question, and came to my mind, exactly, Chico Xavier. Like, he starts like his meetings like in the afternoon, and finish the meetings late, very late at night, with, I don't know, more than 20, I don't know, communications, psychography, and all those things. And at the same time, we have people, because people want their message, and he needs rest as well. So we have all he's doing charity. I understand your point, but even though when you're doing charity, you need a such limit. And when you say, hey guys, that's enough. Today we finish for today. Thank you.
Mhm.
Tomorrow you can return tomorrow, but the medium now needed to rest. Even though there is no exhaustion on the spiritual side, taking consideration Chico level of evolution, but the body needs rest. He needs to. He has his physiological needs. He needs to drink water. Simple thing like that. No,
Mhm.
and so, uh, and balance these is very tough, because those who haven't received their message, oh, but I came from whatever state or whatever country, and now you're telling me he cannot see me, he cannot talk to me.
Yeah.
So it's really tricky.
Yeah,
to-
but that's the passion. So that's why spiritists, they said, uh, passion is a good element. God gave us passion in order to to push us to do things. But passion which creates excess. I mean, the excess with the will. I mean, when we go over above the limits in one side, of course, there's a portion of the other side which is being uncovered. I mean, it's like a cover which has your size. So if you pull it above, your feet will be uncovered. If you put much more than what you need, so you have other parts of your body uncovered, so everything's balanced. But sometimes this comes to ego,
yeah,
because sometimes spiritist workers, they think they need to do quantity. They need to do, so I need to do several speeches. I need to participate in several things. I need, so it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
yeah,
Because
correct.
if you get overwhelmed, how can you like be rested enough to give a good speech, or to think right in the right way, and to say good things? I mean, it's a balance. So we need to know, and then everything comes to what we have in the spiritist book. So knowing ourselves, knowing our limits, until where I can go. Know what's my limit to do good things, because we have family to care, we have work, as Charlie said, we need to care for our work, we need to care for the spiritist work, and this is should be all covered. If one area of this, as Charlie said, so if one of the 3 feet gets uncovered, or get like, we take it out, it falls. Because we need to understand that we that's why spiritist workers, we are always normal people. So we are not like, only there are some the people who are in mission, like Chico or Divaldo, so we can see and differentiate. But in average, we are normal people having normal life, which we need to care for every aspect, all the aspects that Charles mentioned. And if we go too much and we extrapolate the limits of working, spiritually speaking, so the family will be uncovered, the work will be uncovered, and this is not healthy. This will create
Mhm.
imbalance. I have difficulties myself, to be honest with you. So I need to, because I love working in Spiritism. This really fulfills me. This is gives me strength. But we need to remember. I need to remember that I need to care for my career, my professional career. Otherwise, I won't have the money, the material resources to support me on this journey.
Yes. Yes.
So, and the family and everything. So it's all balance. It's all balance.
Yeah. So I want to say good evening to Gisele Gomes and Abdul Ahmed. So good to have you all here. And let me see more people here. Mayara Natera, Fernando Teodoro, Leonardo Pedro. So thank you for watching us. My dear Elsa, we have like 15 minutes left. And so far we talk about the cause. Let's talk about solutions. And I can I say that prayer it is a good tool we can use to restore our balance.
I always advocate in favor of prayer in our lives.
That's the way you are. That's why you have this question.
Yes, I like because as you know, I pray every morning, 7 a.m. And this morning was beautiful that I pray with people from Athens, and Monday's morning with the people from Israel. 15 minutes, read the gospel and pray together or pray on your own. You really have your first shower in the morning before even your breakfast. That help us to maintain ourselves focused, what we must do during the day. But prayers, as we learn and study and preach, act as a bridge between the human soul and the higher spheres, the higher dimensions of life, transcending the boundaries of religions, creeds, and even psychological frameworks. Regardless of the tradition, whether within Christianity, Islam, Judaism, or other spiritual paths, prayer represents an intentional movement of the inner self toward meaning, connection, and transcendence. From a spiritual perspective, prayer restores energy by elevating our thoughts and feelings. When we pray, we shift our mental and emotional state from the dispersion or suffering towards harmony, trust, and surrender. By the way, I had this holiday that for 4 years I didn't have these holidays, and I had the opportunity to pray in the mountains, in the middle of a forest, and I visited many churches that really in the end of the mountain, far from big towns, the church has an atmosphere that invites us to pray and reflect. That is great. It's not only the physical things, because she could pray, or used to pray under the avocado tree in Uberaba. And this is the great possibility that we have to pray everywhere. And I was almost every day immersed in a state of prayer that I now have a lot of energy for perhaps a more 10 years working or more for years without holidays. And that is helping me. Really, I want to do more things. And people says, Elsa, I don't know how you have so this good energy all day long and doing more things. I said, yes, I pray, and prayer renovate our energy. And people that doesn't pray can do a test to themselves. Try to pray every day. Try to really to connect with your inner self and higher self. Try to see the difference in few days. You will see the difference in our lives, even problems. When you pray and are facing problems, this burnout, we overcome our difficulties, our challenges in a different way, without blaming God, without blaming ourselves, without tercerize our problems. So, my problem is because you other. No, my problems, I solve my problems, reflecting, praying with calmness, and do things one step after other, in order not to be in burnout, in order to be crazy, in order to shout and really putting toxins in our veins, in our bloodstream. And psychologically, prayer can be understood as a form of deep reflection and emotional regulation. It quiets the mind, organizes thoughts, and creates a safer inner space where fears can be acknowledged and transformed. In this sense, it resembles contemplative practices that promote mental clarity and resilience. I have more things to say, but I pass to my dear guests, Rodrigo and Charles and you, Stevan. If you have time, I can do more because it's beautiful what I researched today.
Good. Charles, you're very quiet, my friend.
Yes, it's indeed great. I mean, and Spiritist body of knowledge explains us how prayer works. Everything is a question of affinity, as we say. If you have good thoughts, you will attract good spirits around you. If you have bad thoughts or stress or fear or whatever, you will attract spirits which are stressed and with fear and so whatsoever. And the prayer is indeed uh, a way to elevate our thoughts, directing them directly to God, and through this uh, come in closer uh, affinity with our mentors, and then they can help us much more in through intuition, inspiration, the voice of the conscience, or overnight sleeping advices, and so on. And this is really a key to um, say to protect us and to bring, as Elsa said, the energy we need, spiritual energy, in order to do the things. And just complementing also about what Rodrigo said about uh, overwork of some spiritists. Of course, at the beginning, we are all very enthusiastic. We discover something new that motivates, that is clear, that understandable, going towards good, and so on. And we want to do a lot of things, and sometimes a little bit too much. And this can even be a cause of spiritual harassment somehow. And I know there is a colleague, a spiritist colleague, who was translating books, and he was working, 2, 3 a.m. and so on, and then 6 a.m. going to work and so on and whatever. What happened? He lost energy, and his productivity was very, very low,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
he was even feeling some kind of guilt as as long as I do not translate this book, each day I lose in translating this book, there can be people missing this book, committing suicide, and it will be my fault, feeling guilty or something like this. And then, of course, we helped him, saying, "Oh, pop, 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 go slowly. That's not the way to do. You again, you are a human. You need to find the balance, as we told." And then it became better, and last he ended up finishing translating the book, and it was also confirmed that it was some spirit who was against him translating this book, who was creating this feeling of guilt and things like that. So we really should always seek in the prayer solutions for this to come closer to our mentors. And that is then when we are really highly productive and also in the best possible balance. Of course, we always have difficulties, health problems, whatever. It's part of our life. Huh? But again, seeing them from a little bit more distance gives us the strength to have a stronger coping and enabling us to solve better all these natural difficulties of the life.
Mhm.
More beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, we need to work. We need to balance ourselves. We need to learn how to say no. We need to learn how to say yes. So, saying yes for everything, you have a problem. Say no for everything, you have a problem. So, we need to learn ourselves. Like the question of the Spirit's book, know yourself. If you know yourself, you know your limits. You know up to where you can get. Like Elsa did. Hey guys, I need a rest. I'll be out of contact for 4 days, and she's back now, re-energized. We as parents here, we needed to, especially from me, my daughters are getting to the teenager age, so I need to balance them because they have their own commitments as well. So we need to say no, I won't go, or I will go. So we need to know ourselves. We need to balance this. Balance with, especially if your partner or a wife or a husband, they are not spiritist, is even more difficult for you because then you need to kind of make some agreement. Hey, I go to the spirit center, but instead we go to the cinema tomorrow and the next day. I take you the dinner out. So you need to kind of play a lot in order to balance this. And this is all efforts we must do in order to find our inner peace. So you guys are very quiet. To agree with me, what's your final words? Because we only have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So Rodrigo,
I-
since you are the guest
yeah.
today, please.
No, I was just remembering in the Gospel according to Spiritism, the benefactors, they mentioned that mediumship um, um, is not something, is not meant to be a profession because well, all the charge involved and this is for to serve for free for people, for everyone to have access to that. And if people, and they say, if you want to practice mediumship, do that when you have fulfilled already all your obligations or your material duties. So, because you need to have a work, you need to have a family. So, and do the best you can with the time, the free time you have to dedicate to that. And I think that's something which creates a reflection because you will recognize, as Kardec said, a true spiritist by the efforts the person puts or to dominate its bad inclinations, to evolve, to progress. So Of course, spreading spiritism, so that working to spiritism is very good, but we need to do that in balance with the other activities in life, and we'll show that we are good spiritists in the daily life, in the work, in the family, fulfilling our obligations, doing good to others, being responsible. This is how we spread spiritism as well. So by the example, so I don't know if it was Emmanuel who said so. So we need to spread spiritism sometimes with words, because it's with our example that we show to others how good spiritism is to transform ourselves to be good people. So it's in the daily life, in all aspects of our life, that we show with our examples, with the way we behave in the situations we face, that we really understand spiritism. And we can do a lot of conference. We can go to several events to spread spiritism. But if we do that and we don't apply that in our daily basis, or at least we don't put efforts to apply that on our daily basis to be good people, this is empty, and I think that's what we need to do. So try to balance out and to be good spiritists in everything we do in life, not only when we are spreading or when we are working to pass along the knowledge we have acquired studying spiritism. I think that's a good balance. That's a good way for us to work as spiritists.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with Rodrigo. And basically, when we look, it's the way to behave in spiritism, do it with our heart, leading by example, not only preaching, do what I say, but don't do what I do. That's totally wrong. And it's in everything, not only in Spiritist body of knowledge, it's in everything. And even in the professional work, the example we give in the family, educating the children and so on. So it's really a rule of life we shall seek. Of course, we are not perfect, so we may fail. So we have to accept that we are not perfect. We have to accept that we fail. And as Rodrigo mentioned exactly, the thing is to make efforts to become better. Because if we would be perfect, we would not be here. So that's it. And feeling guilt is also not good, as I gave the example before. So okay, so that's basically the message. Whatever the difficulties, we will always have resources and possibility and capacity to overcome and to fix it.
Mm-hmm. And you, my dear Elsa, your final message.
Only one reminder. Brand that prayer is a universal language of the soul. We can pray, send our thoughts, our prayer for everyone, for all the world. Prayers go there. Giving, we are receiving. And Rodriguez pointed in the first beginning moment, he said charity. When you pray for others that you don't know, but you know they are suffering, it's a charity. It's something very beautiful. It's the little coin of the widow, yeah, the little meat of the widow. So, little mite of the widow, better saying. So, I'd like to say thank you so much for this opportunity again. I was really missing 3 weeks to be with you all. I'm happy, renovate, revigorate, and carry on our duties, especially love one another. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rodrigo, Charles, Stevan, and thank you all that are here with us. See you next week, probably.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Let me go here to the announcements. I also want to say good evening to Leonardo Pedro and Jefferson Faria. So thank you for joining us and stay here with us. Linda Fly also with us. Nona Guimarães Norma.
New York.
So good to have you all with us today. By the way, our audience today is very good. Thank you, Elsa, for the effort to to make the announcements. And let me do this. And I can do this. Okay. Okay. So next week, end of March already, my friends. My gosh, end of March. 3 months already. Okay. So we have our friend Munir. It's long time we don't have Munir with us. I'm eager to see him with us. And the topic will be invisible seeds, small acts that they transform the planet. So great topic again, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a good discussion. So on the 28th of March, please don't miss the Spiritist Youth Talk with Bruno Malucelli, and the topic it is engaging young people in the Spiritist activities. So he's a young guy talking about how to call young teens' attention. This is very good, especially for you who does have a youth group in your spirit center. It's a good call. So it is 7 p.m. by Zoom, and just send an email to Elsa, to myself. We can put you in touch. Also, Fraternity is celebrating 34 years of existence, and 29 of March, Charles is going to be there in person. So that's a good
In
one.
London.
Yeah, good one. So, Medium's book study every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. London time. The QR code is in front of you, so you can scan and join the group. We do have the Joana Adriana's study with Dr. Anaí Fonseca every other Sunday from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. London time. Save the date for September. We have 3 events at the same time in the same place, which is the 9th European Spiritist Gathering, the Kids Gathering, and the Youth Gathering. So it's a great event. Wonderful people. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a quality time, a good weekend quality time with the kids. So bring them along with you. If you want to join, please reach out to the bus, myself, also the Spiritist movement in France, Spiritist Francophonic movement in Belgium, in France, so with Charles, so you can have more details. Please keep reading Spiritism magazine. Always great articles, always great topics. In name of BUS, Irish Spiritist Federation, Spiritist Francophonic movement, I want you to say thank you for joining us, for being here with us. Please reach out to our website. It is in front of you. If you have any questions, if you want to know any spirit center closer to your home, please reach out to our websites and you have more details. And also, thank you, Kardec Radio, for giving us this opportunity and be here with you all today, reaching out to the entire world. And thank you to you, Rodrigo, for joining us today, for your time. I expect to see you next month.
Sure. Thank you all for the
And
opportunity to be here again with you. So it's always a pleasure to be with friends and such good friends and all the people who are with you today. So thank you so much.
good,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.